All right, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at drill and drill press safety. Many of you probably have a household cordless drill, such as seen here on the left side of the screen. And I know my eighth graders have already probably operated the drill press when we created or fabricated our tic-tac-toe boards last year. So let's get there's kind of two sections here. One of them is going to cover the drill press. The other section is going to cover the cordless drill. And then you guys will have the safety assessment or safety test to take after the presentation. So let's get started. So looking at the parts of the drill press. So we have our feed lever, which will raise and lower the chuck. The chuck, you place your work on the table. Usually we use a clamp or a jig to hold it in place. And then we have our power switch to turn the drill press on and off. We don't have speed controls in front. Ours are actually found underneath the safety guards, but you'll never have to adjust the drilling speed because we're drilling the same material. Okay. The table can be raised and lowered with this locking clamp if you were drilling a thicker piece of material, but typically we're using like 3/4 inch, 1 inch pieces of material, so you won't really have to mess with that. Basically, when you flip, you'll have your material here. You'll lower the chuck down with this feed lever, and you'll drill to whatever depth you are trying to drill to. So, a couple of safety rules. Always be sure guards are in place at all times over the pulleys. This is your safety guard. You always want to make sure that this is latched shut. There's a lot of gears and pulleys underneath here. We do not want that open when the drill press is running. Next thing, make sure table is firmly clamped and properly positioned before starting the machine. So this is your table. There is a locking clamp if you ever need to drilling into your material. Always clamp work to table if you can. So it's always a good idea to clamp your work to your work table prior to drilling. Then it won't start spinning if you accidentally let go of your piece. Grip the handle firmly as far from the drill as possible when drilling. So remember, which raises and lowers our chuck, which holds the drill bits. You always want to grip that from the handle. Okay, you want your hand as far away from the moving parts as possible. Ease up pressure before drilling through your work. So it's always a good idea to relieve some of the pressure you're pulling on this before you break through your piece. That'll eliminate any crack. If your work gets caught in the drill and starts to spin, turn off the machine immediately. Do not try to grab a moving piece. So if you are drilling something and you accidentally let go or your clamp comes loose and your piece is spinning around and around, that's how accidents happen. Always check the drill bit to see if it's sharp before using it. Do not touch a moving drill bit. So you're always going to use a sharp drill bit that'll eliminate any burning of your drill bit, and it'll put less strain on the equipment. Always use a sharp drill bit. Dull bits need more pressure and could break. Best way to tell if a drill bit is dull is it's usually discolored. Keep table clear of everything except your wood and a clamp if necessary. So we're just talking about this work table. We don't want anything on that except your piece of material that you're going to be drilling. Remove chuck key before starting the machine and after tightening bit. So the chuck key is used to put a different drill bit inside the chuck. So there's a little, there's 3 little holes that the chuck key gets inserted into, and then you can open and close the jaws on the chuck to remove the drill bit and replace it with a different size. Only one person inside the safety zone unless you have permission from the teacher. So remember we talked in the general safety presentation about the safety zone lines. That's the yellow spray painted lines on the floor of the shop. Only the operator of that machine should be within those lines. Keep in mind that small drill bits spin fast, large drill bits spin slow. Use a clamp or jig when drilling round pieces. So that I'll show you once we get back into the classroom. It's always a good idea to use a jig when you're drilling a round piece so it doesn't roll away from you while you're trying to drill it. So that is it for the drill press. Let's move on to the cordless drill. I know a lot of you probably have a cordless drill of some sort at your house. Usually they're powered by a battery pack. There are still some corded drills, but primarily they're all cordless now. Pretty standard. You have a speed control. You have your chuck. This does not use a chuck key to remove the drill bits. You basically twist this. It's a hand tightening chuck, and that'll open and close those jaws. We do have a torque control, speed, which we'll talk about once we actually get into the classroom, forward and reverse, and obviously your trigger is how you start and stop the drill. Always make sure drill bit is straight and tight before using it. So as you tighten the chuck, oftentimes what can happen is if you're using a smaller drill bit, it'll oftentimes get caught in one of the jaws and it won't be sitting straight. So you can just kind of take a quick look at it by tipping the drill back and make sure that that drill bit is straight in the jaws before you start using it. Ease up pressure before you break through. So if you're using a pilot drill and you're trying to drill all the way through your piece, it's always a good idea to kind of ease up on the pressure. Again, that'll prevent any cracking or splitting of your material. Make sure your wood is clamped before you use the drill. So usually you can hold on to your piece if you're using the cordless drill, but we do have the vices mounted to all our workbenches that you could always put your material in if you need to drill through something. If the wood gets caught in the drill, let it come to a complete stop. Do not try to grab it while it's spinning. So if you let go of your piece and you're trying to drill through it, your piece of material is going to be spinning round and round. Do not try to grab it. Simply let your finger off the trigger and it will come to a complete stop. Last couple things here. Apply pressure straight down and hold the drill tight so you do not break the bit. When using a reversible drill, make sure you drill in the proper directions. Remember, we have a forward and reverse button on the drill. Just make sure you have that in the direction that you're trying to go. Drill wood only as fast as the drill allows you to. So you want to let that drill bit do the cutting. You don't want to force it through. The drill bit will cut through your material depending on how big of a hole you're drilling. May take a little bit more time than, let's say a smaller hole. It's always a good idea to mark the location of holes to be drilled before you start. You know exactly where you want to put your holes, or if you're putting screws in, things like that. So that is it for the drill press and cordless drill or handheld drill. There are 20 questions. There's 10 questions on the drill press. There's 10 questions on the cordless drill. You need to score an 85% or better in order to pass, which comes out to a 17 out of 20 or better. If you do not score a 17 out of 20 or better, you do have to retake it. So just make sure you click View Score after you complete the Google form that the test is in. And if you don't know where the test is and you're struggling, on the Schoology page for fabrication, underneath Materials, inside the Drill and Drill Press Safety folder, you will see the Drill and Drill Press Safety test. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be available via Zoom or email. Otherwise, I will see you in class tomorrow.